Hi folks, this is your MWIS Winter Planner brought to you in association with Glenmore Lodge Wild Ski Weekend. Now, we've seen temperatures lift compared to earlier in the week, but we'll still be near to freezing point across higher Scottish tops as we go into this weekend, and that freezing level will come down a little bit as we head into Saturday evening. Saturday itself is a rather unsettled day. There's some hefty bursts of rain to be found. Sunday is a better day as a ridge of high pressure builds over the country, but that's quite short-lived because the week ahead will see low pressure dominate, so pretty unsettled, and the risk of that bringing strong or gale force winds at times. The prevailing pressure pattern then, as shown here through the week ahead, is that low pressure is in charge, indicated by the greeny-blue colours on this map. We've got high pressure still existing away towards Greenland and Iceland, and the result of this is that we're still on the edge of some colder air masses just drifting into those lows from the north, so that may just see some variations and lowering of freezing level at times across Scotland, whereas through England and Wales we're more often feeding in the milder air coming in from the southwest off the Atlantic. As we head onwards toward the change of month, not a great deal really varies in that overall pressure pattern. High pressure is still likely to be toward the north, lower pressure areas toward the south, and still then just feeding in these chillier airflows at times from more northern latitudes across Scotland in particular. So still some freezing conditions across the mountains, even likely into the start of April. Let's study that freezing level for the week ahead then. And for Saturday, we start off with England and Wales broadly above freezing point across the mountains. For Scotland, the highest tops are going to be close to freezing point, and there is a bit of a boundary across northern regions where the far north of the Highlands may see that freezing level even down below 800 metres. For a good part of the central Highlands, from Ben Nevis through the Cairngorms, your freezing level is hovering close to the highest summits at around, say, 1200 metres or slightly higher. So terrain will stay essentially frozen on those high tops with the snowpack that does exist, but it is patchier, certainly at middle levels compared to earlier this week. Now, we'll see a drop of freezing level coming in from the west as a front comes in through Saturday evening, and that is expected to lower even across England and Wales, so that as we go through the night, temperatures dipping below freezing point from around 800 metres upwards, and there may even be a touch of frost in some of the valleys and the glens where skies clear across the Highlands. So some icy conditions, some icy terrain to be found on the high tops through Sunday as some of that snow that may have melted refreezes, so be aware of that across the Scottish tops, and that freezing level will only really rise gradually through the day back to around maybe 1,000 metres, perhaps slightly higher as we head onwards through the afternoon on a few south-facing slopes. Now, there's a bit of uncertainty of exact progression of the weather system through Sunday night, but eventually we expect a rise of freezing level to move in as a warm front comes in through into Monday. Now, that may be slower to push northwards than this chart might suggest, but we expect through Monday daytime, temperatures will lift above freezing point to the very highest summits. Temperatures then up to around 2 Celsius or so on the higher Munros. As we go through into Tuesday, again, we're likely to start off at least above freezing to the high tops, but we may just see a slight lowering, so the highest Scottish tops are close to freezing point. The freezing level here suggested around 1,400 metres, so hovering close to the very highest summits. Uncertain with detail, naturally, as we go further forwards, but the suggestion, at least, is that temperatures just lower again in the middle and second half of the week, so we may well get that freezing level back below 1,000 metres, maybe even down below 800 metres at times across northern Scotland. For England and Wales, you're just about seeing the freezing level close to the highest summits, rarely really getting below 1,000 metres, though, it must be said. Overall, toward the end of the week, it's more likely that Scotland is in the colder air, England and Wales comparatively milder. In terms of lying snow across the mountains, this is how the model sees things in the days ahead, and suggesting, as we know, across Scotland, that there's lying snow across the higher terrain, and that is fairly extensive on the highest summits and patchier just that bit lower down. Most of the very low-level snow is largely thawed now. For England and Wales, there's a few pockets of snow and ice on some of the higher routes in sheltered spots, but broadly, many of the mountains are free of snow. Just be aware of a few icy patches, though, in places, and that will be particularly the case through into Sunday, as we've mentioned, with that drop of temperature. Not much changes really with the snowpack. There's no great addition to any precipitation coming in. Most of anything is rain or sleet at best through this weekend on the summits. Taking things on through the week ahead very quickly, and not a great deal really changes. We will see some further thawing for a while through Monday and Tuesday, but just to take things into the later part of the week, there is uncertainty, but there's just that suggestion of some fresh snowfalls developing over the Highlands. Looking at the synoptic charts through the days ahead, and Saturday has a broad area of low pressure over us. It's a complicated, slow-moving feature, really. Fairly light winds overall, but just watch for things becoming quite gusty and squally around showers, and those will break out increasingly as the day goes on. Some heavy and thundery bursts possible through England and Wales. Some heavy bursts of rain around across Scotland too, and any of these heavier showers could contain hail, some sleet on the higher mountains as well. And as a front just comes in from the west, that could turn more persistent for western Scotland through the afternoon, and coming in with that, a strengthening westerly wind as well. That area of low pressure then will move its way eastwards as we go through Saturday evening and night, and a period of strong to even touching gale force northwesterly winds overnight. Those will still be brisk first thing on Sunday morning, although tending to ease down, but giving a marked wind chill across the mountains early in the day. As a ridge of high pressure builds, that wind will ease considerably to become very light for much of the daytime. One or two early localised showers or flurries will fade, giving a bright day with some sunshine and cloud breaks to higher tops. Watching the next frontal system coming in, though, there's uncertainty on its exact progress, but that will see some high cloud build, and maybe late in the day, some patchy rain and drizzle with some hill snow encroaching towards western mountains. That may be more likely as we go into Sunday night. The exact position, though, is uncertain. Again, uncertain how far northwards that frontal system has pushed by Monday. It looks as though essentially milder air comes wafting all the way across the country. The risk of gale force southwesterly winds too, I think particularly England and Wales, but that could be more extensive. So Monday looks a rather murky day with some cloud across the hills, some rain and some drizzle, fairly extensive. Just watch your local details for any better spots. Tuesday also sees that fairly mild air, a weakening cold front bringing some patchy rain and drizzle for England and Wales, and a further frontal system draped towards western Scotland. It does look rather windy across most mountains, the risk of being up to gale force on some tops. That may well continue into Wednesday as well. Again, uncertain of exact position of the various weather systems, but the threat of strong winds, gales across the mountains of England and Wales, maybe windy too through the Scottish Highlands as well. Some heavy rain associated with that front. Again, the exact position north and south open to some question. Showery conditions further toward the north across Scotland. A pretty unsettled sort of outlook, most likely through into the new week. Keep a close eye on those forecasts then. For today, that's your winter planner in association with Glenmore Lodge Wild Ski Weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.